Choosing the right tower fan can make a big difference when it comes to keeping your bedroom, office, or living room cool and comfortable. Between airflow power, noise level, speed settings, oscillation, timer options, and remote control, not all tower fans offer the same experience. To help you choose, I've selected the top 3 tower fans you can get right now, based on cooling performance, quiet operation, ease of use, and value for money. In the third, I picked the Lasko Oscillating Tower Fan, and this one is a really solid choice if you want something simple, reliable, and easy to use without spending too much. The first thing I liked about it is how straightforward it is. This is not a tower fan loaded with too many complicated settings. You get 3 speed options, a remote control, oscillation, and a built-in timer, so it covers the basics very well. If you just want a fan that cools the room, circulates air nicely, and does not take up much space, this one does exactly that. In daily use, I found it works especially well in a bedroom, office, or small to medium-sized room. The airflow feels consistent, and the oscillation helps spread the air across the room instead of only blowing in one direction. That makes it more comfortable, especially during warmer nights, or when you want a bit of steady airflow while working. I also like the remote control because it makes the fan a lot more convenient. You can adjust the speed, turn oscillation on or off, or use the timer without getting up. That is especially useful at night when the fan is across the room. The built-in timer is another good feature, and since it goes up to 7 hours, it works well if you want the fan running while you fall asleep, but do not want it on all night. Another nice detail is the built-in carry handle. It sounds simple, but it makes moving the fan from one room to another much easier. The base assembly also looks easy, so it is the kind of product you can set up quickly and start using right away. Now, this fan is not the most advanced model in the ranking. It has fewer speeds and fewer modes than the others, so you do not get as much control over the airflow. I also noticed that while many people find it quiet, some users say the noise level is a little more noticeable, especially on higher settings. Power also gets mixed reviews depending on the room size, so I would say this model is best for normal home use rather than very large spaces. Overall, the Lasko Tower Fan is a very dependable and affordable option. It is easy to use, effective, and practical for everyday cooling. That is why I placed it at number 3. It may not be the most feature-packed fan in this top 3, but for simple and reliable performance, it is still a very good choice. Secondly, I chose the DREO Tower Fan, and this one feels like a clear step up in terms of modern features, quiet performance, and airflow control. The first thing that stands out is how quiet it is. With a noise level of around 20 decibels, this fan is designed to be extremely quiet, and that makes a real difference if you want to use it in a bedroom, especially at night. It is the kind of fan that gives you a nice cooling effect without being distracting, and that is a big advantage if you are sensitive to noise. I also really like the airflow performance. Thanks to the upgraded DC motor, it pushes air much faster than a basic tower fan, with wind speeds up to 28 feet per second. In practice, it feels noticeably stronger than entry-level models, and it does a good job cooling the room more quickly. If you use it in a bedroom, living room, or office, it feels powerful enough to move a lot of air without becoming aggressive or uncomfortable. Another major advantage is the flexibility. You get 8 fan speeds and 4 airflow modes, which gives you a lot more control than a standard fan. You can keep it on a low, gentle setting for sleeping, or turn it up when the room is really warm. The different modes also make it more versatile, depending on the time of day, or the type of cooling you want. The 90-degree oscillation is also useful, because it helps the airflow reach a wider area of the room. Instead of feeling like the fan only cools one spot, it gives the room a more even airflow. That makes it especially practical if you are using it together with air conditioning, or if you want to cool a wider space. I also like the overall design. The LED control panel looks modern. The remote control is convenient. And the assembly seems easy since it is tool-free. It also looks lightweight enough to move around the house without much effort, which is always a plus. Another thing I appreciate is that it is designed to be easy to clean, with a removable rear grille and impeller. That may not be the most exciting feature, but it matters over time because it helps you keep the fan in good condition and maintain performance. Now, the only real downside is that this fan is more advanced than the Lasko, so it may be a bit more than some people need if they are just looking for a basic fan. But if you want something quieter, more powerful, and much more adjustable, the extra features feel worth it. Overall, the DREO Tower Fan is a very strong option. It combines strong airflow, very quiet operation, a modern design, and plenty of settings to customize the experience. That is why I placed it at number 2. It offers a great balance between performance, comfort, and value. And to finish, first of all, I picked the Levoit Tower Fan. And for me, this is the best all-around option in this top 3. What I liked right away is that it feels like a fan designed for both comfort and performance. It combines strong airflow, quiet operation, multiple modes, and a more refined cooling experience. It is not just a fan that blows air. It feels more optimized for everyday use, especially in a bedroom or living space. The airflow is one of its strongest points. It can reach up to 25 feet per second and is designed to create a wide curtain-like airflow with 90-degree oscillation. In real use, that means it cools a room very effectively and spreads the air more evenly instead of only hitting one narrow area. It works especially well if you want to cool a larger room or keep the air moving throughout the space. Another feature I really like is how quiet it is. At around 28 decibels, it stays very comfortable for sleep, which is important for a bedroom fan. It is not quite as low on paper as the DREO, but it still seems very well tuned for quiet nighttime use, and the sleep-focused design makes it feel very suitable for overnight cooling. The control options are also excellent. You get 5 speeds and 4 modes, including normal, turbo, advanced sleep, and auto. That gives you a really useful mix of flexibility and simplicity. The auto mode is especially interesting because it adjusts airflow based on room temperature, which makes the fan feel a little smarter and more adaptive than a basic model. Instead of constantly adjusting it yourself, the fan helps maintain a more comfortable environment automatically. I also think the 12-hour timer is a big advantage. Compared to shorter timers, this gives you much more freedom, whether you want to run it overnight, during work hours, or while relaxing in the evening. The remote control also adds to the convenience, so you can change settings easily from bed or from across the room. Another reason I placed it at number 1 is that it seems to strike the best balance. The Lasko is simple and affordable. The DREO is ultra-quiet and very customizable. But the Levoit feels like the most complete everyday package. It offers strong airflow, quiet operation, smart comfort features, and enough settings to satisfy most people without becoming overly complicated. Customer feedback also supports that impression, with many people saying it cools very well, runs quietly, and feels worth the price. Some even compare the cooling sensation to air conditioning, which says a lot about how effective the airflow feels in real use. Overall, the Levoit Tower Fan is the best choice in this ranking if you want a fan that is quiet, powerful, comfortable to use, and versatile enough for day and night. It works very well for bedrooms, offices, and home use in general, and it feels like the most complete option out of the 3. That is why I placed it at number 1. That's it for this top 3 tower fans. As you've seen, each model has its own strengths. Whether you want something simple and reliable, a very quiet fan with strong airflow, or a more complete option with smart comfort features and multiple modes. If you are interested in the product, the link is in the description. But above all, Subscribe to not miss the next videos. See you soon.